Hey everyone, how's it going? So now that you're all experts in REST APIs, thanks to my amazing PowerPoint presentation, we're going to go ahead and actually implement that now. So we're of course implementing the post one right here, which will create a post for us. And last time, just to reiterate, if I go back to common.js, we renamed the URL we're going to API/posts with an S on the end. Previously, it was just /post, but then I changed it. It's going to be /posts. All right, just to be clear, make sure you got that. But anyway, so what we're going to do is create this endpoint first, the file that handles this. So where are we going to do that? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to do it in the routes folder because this is still a route, although it's an API route. So let's go to the routes folder, and inside the routes folder, I'll create a new folder. So I'm going to right click on the routes folder and click new folder. Now I'll create this folder and name it API. So we're going to separate the API routes from the page handler routes. For example, the login routes and the register routes, these are the ones that handle the browser accessing the page. So it returns this, and also it handles a form submission, of course. But we're keeping these page handler routes separate from the API ones, which essentially are creating posts for us, getting users, getting posts and things like that. So anyway, in this new API folder, I'm going to right click on that and create a new file in there. Now this will be called posts.js. Okay, so posts.js, and this is essentially the file which handles that call from common.js. It's this one. So we've created the file, great, but now we actually need to set the app up to use that. So we go back to app.js, and we're going to do something very similar, almost identical to how we did here with the routes. So remember before, we set up the page handler routes, we declared them first, and then we told the app to use them using app.use. And then we also specified at what endpoint, or essentially what page, what URL, if you want to call it that, we apply those routes. So we'll do the same thing. Now I'll do it underneath here, but I'll create another new line, so an extra space between them, and I'll just separate these ones. These will be the API routes. You can of course keep them together, it really doesn't matter, but this just might help you organize your code a little bit more. But we are going to be doing something identical, so I'm going to copy this line right here. Well, almost identical. We're going to change some of the values obviously, but essentially we're doing the same thing. First we're declaring it, so the name of this is going to be posts API route. And the path is just going to be routes/API/posts, like that. So this will essentially use the file we just created, posts.js. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you could rename this to posts API if you want to make it a bit clearer for yourself. But this is fine for us. We're going to call it just API/posts. Okay, so we've declared it. Great. Now we just need to tell the app to use it. So I will then take this, paste it on the line below, and just set this up. So I've copied the post API route object, and we're going to use it when the user accesses /API/posts, like that. So when we access this, we're going to apply the posts API route. And just like above, I'm going to keep these two separate a little bit. So these will be the page ones, and these will be the API ones. So that's it. We've declared the route, and we've told the app to use it. Now, we can send requests there. Now at the moment we'd still see an error because we haven't actually set any handler up here that will use it. But we can do that now, and we can actually take a little shortcut and copy from the login routes or the register routes, it doesn't matter. So I'll go to login routes, and I'm going to copy, in fact I'll copy the whole file, and I'll just paste it in my posts.js file. And then what I'm going to do is get rid of some things. We don't need this app.set part right here. We don't need those two because these are for the views, and we're not using any views in this. This is an API. And then also we don't need bcrypt anymore, so you can get rid of that. We do need body parser, so we'll keep that. And then I'll also get rid of the code from inside of this router.post part. So I'll get rid of all this code, so we essentially have empty handlers. Oh, and this one's got some code too, so I'll get rid of that. Yeah, so now we have two empty handlers, one to handle a GET request and one to handle the POST requests. Both are to the top level. So to test this out, we can just send something back to the user. We can just say res.status, and then we can send 200, which means it was a successful call. And then we can also just send some data with that too. It really doesn't matter, but I'll just send a string, it worked. Oops, it worked, if I can spell it. Okay, So let's give this a try. So this will essentially take the request and just send us something back. Obviously, it won't create any posts yet. But what we will do though is go back to common.js and just use that data. So if we do let's say alert post data, we should see the result alerted to us, and the result is going to be this: it worked. Let's try it out. Okay, so I will kill the server instance and I'll start it again, and we have an error. Awesome. Let's find out what it says. So, oh, it's looking for the user schema. Now, of course, in this post file, we are an extra folder deep. So to access the user schema, we need to go an extra level up. So just add another ... Now, you're probably wondering, why do we have this right now? We're not using it, so why don't we just delete it? We could just delete it, but eventually we'll want to use this, so we may as well just fix this error now. So just give that a save. Let's try that again. I'll restart the server, and we're looking good now. So I'll go back to here. I'll refresh the page, and once I've logged in, that is. Oops. There. Password. Okay. So now when I submit something, it should see an alert saying it worked. And we do. It worked. Look at that. No errors. Well, we had an error just then, but that's okay. So it's looking good. We are making a post request to the server, and it's executing this handler and then giving us a response.